What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Star Chasers, Girls Talk Ball. As you all always know, it's your girl Craven Cowboys in the building. As always, I got my girl Star here with me chilling on a Wednesday night. How you doing today, Star?
What's up, everybody?
I love all my friends.
I appreciate everybody being here with us tonight. We love y'all so much. We always have great shows, but y'all know when y'all come in, please shout out to Zach on Filthy, shout out to Nisi. We know that there's gonna be more people coming in, but y'all know as you come in, please like the video, uh, please share the video, and please subscribe if you haven't already, because all of those things are free 99. So y'all could
That
help us out. What's not free is donating. There's no minimum on the donation. So whatever y'all feel and y'all start to give, y'all can definitely donate to Mickey and I's channel via Cash App, which is down there on the screen.
Yeah, like Star was saying, make sure you hit like, subscribe. If you guys can if you guys are active in the chat, give us a thumbs up. Let us know if you can hear the music. Let us know if you can hear us clearly, loud and clear. Let us know if you can hear the buttons, because I definitely heard that drop loud and clear. So please let me know. Let us know, guys, if you can hear us loud and clear. And as we jump into the show, I was just telling Star off camera, pretty much right before we hopped on. A lot of news coming through, as you guys seen just over the weekend. I mean, Friday night? I think they said about 9:45, 10 o'clock. Of course, there were rumblings before that happened, but of course, we've seen Brian Schottenheimer was officially announced to be, the new head coach of the Cowboys. I believe they said he's the 10th head coach, since Jerry, under Jerry's ownership, all of a sudden, Stephen Jones co-ownership, what I'm saying, they announced at their press conference, but we definitely give, respect to both, what I'm saying, much respect to Brian Schottenheimer, because, we didn't, touch on it a lot last week. We did talk about, the possibility of him coming in. I kind of said that, just giving my opinion. I did say I wanted someone who's offensive minded, someone who had the guys in mind, just kind of get the spark, kind of get this offense a little bit of a spark. I didn't expect, I'm saying, of course, before all the news came out, didn't expect Zimmer to leave, and then expect him to them not to give Zimmer an opportunity. That's kind of. I know we won't touch too much on, because I know we have a lot to get to today, sis. But I was shocked, I'm saying. I thought that, and I kind of understand where he's coming from. Shout out to Brian Broad. I think he said, he's one of the guys, one of the sources who said that Zimmer, wanted to be offered, or at least offered, so at least given an interview for the head coach position. I guess the Cowboys didn't think too much of it, or maybe, I thought that maybe he was, kind of done. So maybe he just wasn't looking forward to maybe, and even if they were maybe possibly offering him a job, maybe he didn't want to be, maybe his tenure, maybe he had like a shorter tenure that maybe the Cowboys, didn't have the, a lot of people have been calling Schottenheimer kind of like a bridge coach. So not, I guess until the next, guy comes in. But what's your thoughts on that? Sis, as you know, on our show, one of my hot takes was Zimmer and McCarthy both returning, but as we, see they're both, I was definitely wrong on
Right.
both of those accounts.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that the way that the Cowboys were talking at the end of the season, it definitely sounded like Mike and Zimmer was coming back. Mike McCarthy, Zimmer, and Zimmer was
Yeah.
coming back. And then of course Mike ended up leaving at the negotiation table, even though they said there was never any numbers offered or whatever. But it's like, yeah,
Right.
y'all was still in the negotiation. And apparently, shout out to Jane Slater once the Jason Witten thing was, and shout out to Jane. Let's give Jane some claps. Thank you, Jane, because if Jane had never mentioned that Mike McCarthy bounced because Jerry started bringing up this idea of put Jason Witten on the staff, and then he's gonna be air, all of this stuff, like we would have never known that, and then we
Right.
wouldn't have been able to advocate with Shoddy like no Witten. So thank you, Jane Slater, for putting that out there. Jane always putting it out there. That's why Jerry cannot stand her ass, but that's
Yeah.
okay, because you continue to ask the questions and put
Yeah.
out the teeth that we need, especially as the content creators, to operate accordingly. So thank you.
Yeah.
And so, of course, once Mike bounced, I to me, I thought it's very shocking, because I did think that Zimmer was for sure. And what's up, Brian? Glad to see you. I know we shouted you out.
Yeah.
I
What's up,
for
Brian?
sure um thought that they would interview Zim for a head coaching job. Hell, I thought they brought Zim here because they were like, hey, if it don't work out with Mike, we'll just slide Zimmer right in there, right? But coming out, and there have been mixed reports on Zimmer. You know, some people believe he's just ready for retirement. Then we had people saying he didn't want to be head coach. Then we got Brian Browder saying he did want to be head coach and he's not coming back because he's tired of being looked over. And I'm like, I don't know if the Cowboys said we want to bring you back as DC, and then Zimmer was like, nah, I ain't trying to be DC. Like, I want to be a head coach. So of course the only person to say that is Brian Broaddus, which we can't corroborate that, but only a couple people also said that Zimmer didn't want it. So I don't know what the truth is. Zimmer will have to come out and say his truth. I do think that, you know, it's unfortunate because I know people, you know, what's up, Sports Junkie?
Hey, Sports Junkie. And appreciate you joining us, fam. I know, you know, I meant to reach out to you. I hope everything's going okay with you and your son. I'm saying, I know, you know, over the holidays, it was, you know, pretty tough. And I seen you, Angry Cowboys fan, back doing content. You guys are, of course, you know, doing the damn thing. So, you know, shout out to you. Appreciate you joining us.
Y'all, please, Sports Junkie is a great content creator. So y'all can go and follow his YouTube channel. He does content as well with, as Mickey said, Angry Cowboys fan. But yeah, I was shocked by that. A lot of fans liked what Zimmer brought to the table. I liked what Zimmer brought to the table. I like Zimmer's defensive scheme. It's just unfortunate that I really think that once Mike left, and I don't know if this is true. Some people have some theories that this is Moneyball and they just didn't want to pay Zimmer. I don't know. But I will say that I think once Mike left, the front office was like, let's just move in a total different direction. And when I'm looking at the coaches that they're hiring, like they're hiring young guys. They're hiring like 40s and 50s. 40s and 50s only, baby. All the way down, maybe even younger. Because I'm looking at Eberflus is only, how old is Eberflus? I think Eberflus is in his 50s. Hold on, I'm gonna look.
Yeah, it said 1970. So yeah, about 54.
Eberflus 54. Yeah. Then you got Nick Sorenson, who's our new O-line coach. I mean, not O-line, special teams coordinator. Mm-hmm. He is 46, right? Like we're bringing in guys. Then you have this, what's his name, Clayton Adams, who we are interviewing now to be our offensive coordinator. Don't know if we're gonna hire him. I would love to hire him based off what I heard, but he is only 41. So I think that, I think that honestly they just was like, you know what? Let's go into a different direction and let's be new and innovative because it looks like they've looked around the league and they looked around the league and they said, let's stop getting mediocre nepotism coaches. Because let's be honest. Love Big Mike and what he was able to do for us, but his staff in certain areas was weak. Scott McCurry.
And he brought in a lot of his guys too that didn't prove to be effective.
Brought in a lot of his guys that were not good. Okay, they weren't good. The Jeff Blasco's, the Matt, what was his name? Mike Nolan's, the Scott McCurry,
the linebackers, McCurry,
the Scott Tolzie's, and all of these guys who don't have resumes. You just brought them here because they're your buddies, and those guys drop the ball. And it's like when you have somebody like Jeff Blasco over your run game, who's never even coached running back. So
that's terrible, and you can kind of tell by some of how some of the coaches speak. Like, I mean, even for me, kind of comparing how McCurley kind of spoke when Quinn was there, Vice, I guess when Zimmer kind of came in and they got bodies in that linebacker room, he just kind of started to speak a little bit more technical about the body types they had in the room, the different type players that they had in there. You know, I'm looking forward to that. You know, someone who's a little bit more familiar with the players and actually bringing in the type players that they want to bring in how they can actually use those body types to their advantage.
Exactly. Like, and I just feel like we, and not to say, because we did have some good coaches under Mike and Dan Quinn, but we also had some not so good coaches. And so, because some of those picks were just guys that came into the league under them, they really didn't have much experience or anything like that. So now I'm glad that the Cowboys are looking around, and thank you, DC. I'm glad. I'm glad that the Cowboys looking around. They said, okay, defensive line. Let's go to see who had a great defensive line over these past years. Oh, the Jets. Okay, let's go get their defensive line coach.
And that's huge through, like we talk about through different head coaches. You know, the Jets going through what they went through. The consistency was the defense. The consistency also add on to that Eberflus with the Bears was the
That's
defense.
the consistency. And so when we look at, we just hired guys, and Aaron Whitecotton, that's his name. And you know, this is a guy. Shout out to Foots, because Foots had just put on Twitter, coached up Will McDonald, 10 plus sacks this year. Coached up Bryce Huff, 10 plus sacks 2023. Quentin Williams. So this is a guy who he has seen. We can see that he can get the best. The offensive line coordinator that we're interviewing, this is a guy that I think they were ranked number 2 in rushing. I can go check, because I brought up my football database rankings, so I can go look at what the Cardinals were. But the Cardinals, and that's a coveted guy over there in Arizona. What's up, Dwayne Brown? Glad to see you.
Hey, Dwayne.
He's definitely.
What's up, Swain? How you doing, man?
Yeah, but he's a coveted guy. They do not want him to lose. They do not want to lose Clayton Adams, because he has been, Steven, what's up, Steven? He has been a stabilizer for our offense, and they led the league last year in most 200-yard rushing. So when I'm talking, it's getting excited, because it's like y'all are actually looking for the
James Conner over there, 1,000. Even in all those he had, some tough years with injury, 1,000-yard rusher.
Like when you look at that type of stuff, okay. So if I bring up this is 2004 rush yard. Yeah. So Arizona was top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they had top 7 rushing attack, coming in at 2,451 yards. Average per game, 144 yards per game. So we talk about, like, this is, and I can show y'all if y'all want to. But yeah, y'all can check out this database. I just found it. It's called the football database. You can bring it up, but y'all can see right here. Y'all see Arizona. I have rushing yards. Like, I selected it so you can see like the best to the least, right? And so you can see Arizona. Arizona is. Can y'all see? I hope y'all can see. Let me just go to that. But y'all see Arizona right here. So they came in at 2,451 rushing yards total, and then rushing yards per game. Yeah, so they were top 7. You know what I'm saying, in rushing. And I think he was there last year as well, 2023. I'm trying to see what they did last year. I don't know if they were top 10 or not, but I know. Oh yeah, last year top 5. Wait, no.
Even without
3, 4. Yeah, top 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say even without Kyler, because I think Kyler missed most of last season. So I understand having the run game, but without your quarterback,
they missed. So this is.
And he's a big part of their. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but he's a big part of their run. In their run game. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's huge.
So this is what we talk about, getting serious. It seems like the Cowboys are getting serious and going out and saying, let's get the best guys possible to coach our men. We have the money. There's no salary cap on coaches. So why not go out and get the best guys possible? Because when you look at, I was talking to, shout out to Boss Cowboy, but I was talking to him and I was like, listen, the Cowboys think we're going to have B2C level coaching, B2C level talent, and we'll get to a Super Bowl. That's not how it works. You either got to have A+ talent like Philly And then you can have a B-level coach like Nick Sirianni, right? You can have a B-level coach, but you got to have the talent to compensate. Or you can be like the Kansas City Chiefs, where it's like, when you look at their defense, it's Chris Jones and a bunch of guys. It's literally Chris Jones.
Literally,
They got a couple of guys. It's like, oh, he's
linebacker. Yeah, they got Bolton and Karlaftis,
but mostly it's Chris Jones and everybody else. Okay, you can't name their corner. Like, who is their corner?
McDuffie. I think McDuffie is their standout.
But that's their slot corner. They're two outside corners. Nobody knows who those guys are. You don't know who their safeties are. But what matters is those guys play as a great cohesive unit. Why? Because they're coached by the best defensive coordinator in the league in Spagnuolo. So you can have, just like the Chiefs won when they were really down offensively in 2022 and 2023, you can win with okay coaching, or you can win with, like I said, B to C level talent if you have elite coaching, like the best of the best. So I think I'm really happy that the Cowboys seem to be looking around and saying, okay, how can we poach and how can we strengthen our room? Like this Nick Sorenson guy. People are kind of concerned because they're like, his special teams when he coached for the Jags, and I think the 2021 wasn't good. They was like dead last. But I was like, listen, that was the Urban Meyer year where
right, there was a whole lot of stuff.
As a first-time head coach, it was a disaster fire. So I don't want that again.
Yeah.
Once Nick went over those two, I like Nick Sorenson because him and Shotty have a connection. They both came. Shotty didn't, but Nick came up in the league under Pete Carroll. So
and also another connection I've seen with these new hires that came along. Says I just seen that when I was kind of looking at some of the years, and someone please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking with looking at some of the years, looks like Andre Curtis. Since they hired actually crossed paths with Sorenson in Seattle, they actually were DB coaches, defensive back coaches with Legion of Boom.
That's another coach of color. I'm really glad at them. Andre Curtis, who now is our passing game coordinator. He looks like he's probably like in his 50s. I mean, how?
Hey, shout out to Lee Harrison also on the Facebook group as well. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you.
He's 48. So you see what I'm saying? You see?
Okay, yeah.
I think that's just the trend. They're trying to get younger. They're trying to get more innovative. They're trying to get people with more energy. So, but even with Andre Curtis, like they came up under Seattle, and we see how important to Shotty him going to Seattle was. When he did his presser, and they asked him like, why now? Why didn't you pursue it? And he's like, listen, I had 3 opportunities when I was younger, but I just didn't feel like I was ready. And he pivots to, he feels like he had to go and be up under Pete Carroll, because Pete Carroll is kind of who really helped him, other than his dad. But Pete Carroll was the guy who really challenged him and made him basically who the coach he is today. So I love it. I love getting
And also, I mean, cut you off, but also being in that division. I mean, facing against Shanahan, that NFC West is a tough division. I mean, we've seen that year after year that they may not necessarily play, in my opinion, I say the greatest against maybe other teams, but in that division, when Cardinals play 49ers, Seattle plays 49ers, some of those are some of their toughest games, whether they're, whether you see them as a good or bad team. Those are the toughest games.
Shotty coached. They were winning 10+ games, and that was when, Rams were a powerhouse, 49ers were a powerhouse.
Right.
It was very difficult at that time. And Shotty was, top 10 offense pretty much every year, led the league in rushing twice. So, this is a guy that held his own, held his weight. And what's up, $100,000? Glad to see you.
Right.
Appreciate $100,000. But, when you go and get these guys from these coaching tree pedigrees, and then talk about Nick Sorenson, he spent the last 3 years with Shanahan, and and
also another note of him. I love that he's also played in the league as well. You know what I'm saying? He played with the Jags.
Safety as well. So when you pair that, and you pair the culture that these guys are coming from, one of the toughest football cultures in the league is very important. It brings a certain mindset. And I know, 49ers fans complaining or whatever, because I don't know why to this day I don't know why y'all complain about everybody ever since D'Amico Ryans left. Everybody sucked, but the 49ers they had pretty key injuries on that defense, and they still rank 8th in the league. So I don't know what the issue is, but all I can say is I watched the video, and Kyle Shanahan did not want to get rid of him at all. He was like, "We're trying to keep him on staff, but it's a promotion because it's a promotion for him because I think they were just trying to get him maybe to go back maybe to like the safeties coach or something. But we promoted him and gave him an actual coordinator's job. So, but this is a guy where if Kyle Shanahan, who like I said builds one of the toughest cultures in the league, said I want to keep this guy on staff, like they just feel like they need to go into a different direction with somebody that's more experienced. Because y'all remember for Nick Sorenson, that was his first time calling plays and being a defensive coordinator. And so Shanny just feels like we need to get more experience. That's why they went back to Saleh, because they probably are getting in a position where they might need to lean on their defense a little bit more and all that type of stuff. So
contracts. I mean, we see the players they have over there. Even they were talking about possibly paying. I forget the wide receiver who just got hurt this past year, but he had a good, I say a good first half of the year before he got hurt. The contract with Deebo Samuel, CMC, like they have some players over there. So like you said, possibly having leaving their defense, and with these injuries, I'm sure, like you said, having to go with familiarity. I mean, we talk about the Cowboys. On familiarity, I mean, they kind of go on the same path with hiring back a Saleh, someone who's been with the staff, and that's also something I noticed when the assistants that they brought in. I believe. Let me see. Let me find out this name before actually jump out because I have it listed here. Dave Borgonzi, saying that he returns to the staff after being an assistant in 2012 and 2013. So just like with a lot of these hires that we have in this past weekend, just kind of going with familiarity, guys who have either been with the Cowboys or been around each other, as we see with Sorensen and Andre Curtis. And we kind of saw that last year too when they brought in Zimmer. He brought in some of his guys, Paul Gunther. And this actually. It was kind of surprising for me seeing this news before we hopped on, because these some of the questions I had. Was Coach Scanina going to stick around? Was Coach Ellis going to stick around? Because we see, some of the steps that some of these guys took over this past offseason, even the free agents that they brought in, Carl Lawson, really stood out this past offseason. So it was. I was just wondering, I'm sure other fans are wondering too. Whether these coaches, we're going to keep them on as far as being consistent. If we're going to keep this, it's one thing to change the coordinator, but if you're going to, change the assistant coaches who actually had their hands on a little bit more with some of these players, if you're going to change that. So, we do see it, Eberflus is bringing some of his guys, Schottenheimer bringing in some of his guys. So they work together with each other. So it'll be, be interesting to see if they do reach into free agency, what players they do bring in, and if they can kind of build some sort of relationship with the current players who are actually.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, it's like that happy medium where it's like you got some continuity, but you also need to bring in some fresh ideas. You need to bring in, that's true, Dwayne. We do need an O-line coach. We're pulling for Clayton Adams. So far, him and somebody named Alex Kroger is the only one that they've interviewed. I don't know if we're gonna, because it sounds to me like the offensive coordinator. Hold on. I don't think. But I'm like, didn't I put my phone on? But I forgot her. She set up to where it'll come through anyway. But anyway, but yeah, so I forgot what was my train of thought. What was I talking about?
O-line.
Oh, coach. Yeah, I think that Clayton Adams, because they're talking about the offensive coordinator, is pretty much going to be responsible for our run blocking schemes and all of this type of stuff, basically.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to talk about him too, sis, because I remember a point that we brought, well, I would say but that was the point that you brought up last year about having youth in our O-line and just being able, really going with the younger guys and having versatility. And I know versatility is something that the Cowboys have kind of emphasized, over the past few offseason, really for a while, with these guys, the competitions they've held, at center just last season, and at guard and, at tackle before they brought in Guyton and of course Tyler Smith, who played very well a few years ago when he came in there and replaced Tyron. But we talk about them possibly bringing in a Clayton Adams, just some things I've heard There's some different shows, Brian brought us Locked On Cowboys, and they really provided a lot of good information. Like you just mentioned, well, like Dwayne mentioned just about needing an O-line coach. He's currently the O-line coach, I believe the O-line coach over in Arizona, and they're kind of saying that we were to bring him in, it would kind of be like a 2-for-1, like we kind of get an
Right, that's
O-line
what I
coach
think
as
they're trying
well
to
as an
do. That's what I
OT.
think that. So I think they bringing Clayton in to kind of wear both hats, where he's going to be the offensive coordinator, but he's also going to be the offensive line
Right.
coach. We kept our offensive line assistant, which is, I think his name is Ramon Chinyong. So yeah, we
Okay.
kept him on staff. He's a young guy that'll be his assistant. But I think what they're ultimately trying to do is say, let's just make our offensive coordinator our offensive line coach. So I think that that's a good sign, because one guy that we wanted the hell up out of here was Mike Solari. Now, granted, I will be fair and say this: the offensive line that came with the run blocking and stuff got better, because Rico didn't have them 100-yard consecutive games out of nowhere. So the offensive line obviously began to gel and they begin to get better. Rumor has it that it was shoddy, but whatever. That was speeding it up and stuff like that. But regardless, Solari was the guy coaching, the offensive line. It got better. Obviously, Tyler Smith got his first All-Pro under him. So we're not going to act like Solari is garbage, but I just think that Solari is just more of an older-minded coach, has an older way of doing things, and probably doesn't really have that energy that you need. I feel like the coaches last year just didn't have enough energy that we needed to really turn the tide. Now, granted, injuries killed us, but also even before we got injuries, it's just things was not looking good. You know what I'm saying? And the injury flowed from that. But even before, when everybody was healthy, we couldn't run the ball, we couldn't block anything. The defense was a disaster. And even when, as crazy as it seems, guys, I know our defense picked up, right? They picked up toward the end of the season, where we were like, okay, we like how the linebackers are playing and all that type of stuff. But if we go to where our defense was ranked, guys, like, we were pretty bad. Like, we were pretty, when it comes to total points for this season, we were 31st in points allowed.
Yeah, I think we were close to last in red zone defense too.
Bad. Like, I can share this with y'all again. This is from Football Database, but y'all can see right here the point 2004 regular season. Is it up there? Yes, up there. Y'all can see Dallas Cowboys, right?
Oh my god!
Like, I mean, 30
that is
first points per game. Dallas Cowboys, second to last. Rushing yards per game.
Bruh.
Little bit better, but what? Or from the bottom?
At the bottom,
28th.
yeah.
28th in the league. Like, rushing yards per game, guys. This is how much rushing yards. 137 rushing yards per game.
And I'm sure that, like you were talking about, I'm sure like them later games definitely helped out with that average, because in the beginning of the season, Rico was, like he said, he wouldn't even hit 100. He wasn't even hitting 100.
Yeah, no, this is for the defense. This is for the defense. This is how much the defense was given.
Oh, the defense.
Yeah, we're looking at the defense. So, when it comes to passing yards, we were a little bit better versus the pass, of course, with the blitzing and all that stuff. But overall, guys, even though we really like Zimmer and we liked how the defense looked toward the end, our defense was it wasn't good. Our defense was not good, guys. We're got injuries, no injury. Remember, the defense was playing worse with all the starters in. So I don't know if we could necessarily blame all the injuries. It was just pretty bad. Now, granted, Zimmer and them only had 1 year to really establish their culture. Zimmer did come out later and say, he wished he should have been himself sooner, and because he could have got the best and stuff. But it's like, regardless, defense was garbage last year. It was garbage before the injuries. It was garbage after. There was some highlights, Like we really did start, we started seeing individual players trending up, but as a whole, it just wasn't cooking. As we
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, sis. I mean, like you said, overall, we kind of had to take the, take the good from the bad, right? Like you said, like a lot of young guys we had, a lot of fresh faces who had to, had to kind of step up, in place of those starters. But that's kind of some of the things that kind of intrigued me with some of these new hires that we have, like this for me, I'll just speak for me. Like this is kind of the process I have. I'm still kind of gathering information. I still have to go look at old film that under Eberflus, under Sorensen being with the 49ers. With these new coaches coming, I definitely want to be able to get all the right information. But just me kind of reacting to some information I've heard. Eberflus being aggressive on third downs. Kind of they say bend don't break. Not really trying to allow the big plays. You know what I'm saying? And we saw that a lot. You know what I'm saying with. Will McClay kind of alluded to it, playing 10 corners. I'm saying, injuries are not, that's a lot.
Because that's a key point. She said the big plays, I mean, we couldn't stop the run, but we were getting killed, in 2023 season.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't want to go back to the playoff game, but even before then.
Season, you can even go back. The big plays always killed us, but that's because we played under Dan Quinn a very man-to-man aggressive defense that was pretty much all predicated on instant, constant pressure. So when you couldn't get that pressure, when they couldn't get that pressure, then that's when we would see the big plays. And then when you can't stop the run, which means now I'm stuck in play action land. I don't know what's happening. And so that's what was happening. That's what has been the downfall of our defense. So if we could get a handle on big plays and stop the run, and I did want to show y'all because, a lot of people have, if y'all want to look through like an actual breakdown of like Eberflus's scheme, I would encourage y'all to go check out Okoye Media on Twitter. He did a video breakdown. It don't have he's not talking in it. He's just like showing different types of schemes and stuff like that. He's basically writing on the screen or whatever. But I would check that out. A lot of people are talking about schemes.
I don't mean cut you off, but I did watch that. I did that because I did see you repost that, and I did take a quick look at it. I did like how he inserted Micah's names, Chauncey's name, just to kind of give you an idea of where these players will actually be on the field.
He gave a good idea, so I would definitely have y'all check that out. Now, when it comes to Eberflus's scheme, one thing I noticed because I went and checked because he was the offensive coordinator before he became head coach. So with theirs, I ain't gonna lie, they had, I think 2023, they had a good year. This year was bad. 2022, which was Eberflus's first year, was bad. So I'm not gonna lie. But 2023, they did have a good year. But when you look at Eberflus, when he was just a coordinator, not a head coach, because he went to the Indianapolis Colts in 2018. And when we look at their defense as a first-time coordinator, we'll see that Okoye is amazing, Stephen White. So y'all definitely go check out Okoye for sure. But anyway, let me look at this. When we pull this up, so y'all can see 2018 Indianapolis Colts were ranked top 10, right? We were actually ranking pretty high that year, but yeah. But anyway. But anyway, it's like, why can't y'all ever perform in the playoffs? To be that high in the season and just crumble in the playoffs is just so typical Cowboys. But anyway, so you can see Eberflus top 10 in 2018, and they're pretty good versus the run. You know what I'm saying? Then because this was a top 10. Then you see in 2019, where were they ranked? But yeah, so this is 2019 total points. I think they went down. They were like middle of the road this year.
Yeah, I think they said just one of the years that he was there, they weren't top 10 in points allowed. But I think they said 3 of the 4 years he was there.
Yeah, 3 of the 4 years. Yeah, like a down year with points allowed. They were like middle of the road, but I think this was the year they was like great against the run. Yeah, they were like top. What's this? 1, 2, 3, top 10.
Oh wow.
And so I was checking to see like, and can you stop the run? Because they said he likes to play a lot of too high shell. And when I think about that, I'm like, too high shell, that's not really to stop the run. But it looks like his defense is, then to the 2020 back top 10 versus the run.
Yeah.
Top 2, defending the run in 2020. So this is the guy that consistently, and then we look at.
Now, is that the year? Because I know they said that there was a year that, like, I know 2020 was McCarthy's first year, and was that the year that the Cowboys? Because they said it was one year that the Cowboys lost to the Colts. They got like blown out. Was that the year 2020?
That's interesting. It could be. I don't know. Since you have to remind me. I don't know. I can't remember. We played the Colts in 2020.
I gotta look it up because I think there was this whole thing. Like, let me look it up because they said that there was when Cowboys got blown out by I think it was like 23-0 or something like that, and there was a whole thing. Cause I think it was like a revenge game for the coordinator, like a coordinator we played this past season. Let me see.
Yeah. So 3 out of the. He's there 2018, 19. 3 out of the 4 years he had a top 10 defense, and he was consistently top 10 versus the run in Indianapolis when he was just a coordinator. So ultimately, I think that what they saying. Oh, they just going through different stuff to chat, but ultimately, Flus he's a good defensive coordinator. This is a guy who he's a linebacker whisperer, coach. DeMarcus Ware, coach gave Shaq Leonard his only. Remember Shaq Leonard? I think that was in 2018-19. Ended up being all pro. He was like a defensive player of the year candidate. So, and what about Jameson? I don't know if we shouted out Jameson, but glad to see you, Jameson.
Hey, what's good, Jameson? How you doing? It's been a while since I see you, fam. I hope you're doing well.
Okay, sir. But yeah. So. Anyway, with that, I forgot what I was saying. But he coaches the linebackers. Remember when he was here, LVE and Jalen both made the Pro Bowl. He was a big Sean Lee.
Right, yeah. That is right. Yeah.
This is a guy that's really not only helped us coach up, get the absolute best or get high level play out of our linebackers, but clearly where he was at was getting high level play out of his linebackers. So now, granted, we got to see how the scheme falls out. We got to see what he's going to do with Micah and the creativity and all that type of stuff. But I like the Eberflus hire because that's a real coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a real serious defensive coordinator who has a lot of skins on the wall and has been able to show that he can coach, the best defenses in the league. That's what his resume says. So, looking forward to seeing what he does with the guys. Another key nugget that came out today, I think, shout out to Jory Epstein. She put it out that Osa will be a priority for us this off season. Sign. I know a lot of people were concerned, but it sounds like the front office is like, we're going to keep Osa. So I don't know what that entails. His contract, I don't know, because the defensive tackles are at about 20 mil APY. Just being honest.
Osa played very well.
He did have a career year this year. He had, career high 4.5 sacks. I think, and reason why Osa gonna get paid is because he was top 2 in pressures, I think, and as a defensive tackle, top 2 in pressures and pass rush win rate, I think. And then on top of that, he had 23 QB hits this year. So
he was definitely a standout. And also another nugget I heard today. Speaking of free agents, I think I heard it on DLLS, all DLLS. I think it was Jesse, Clarence Hill, and I forget the last guy's name. He's on 105.3 The Fan, but they were one more time.
Hoyt.
I think it might have been Joel Hoyt on there. I believe they were talking about. I believe they were talking about the defense, and I think they're talking about another special piece that Eberflus likes to, I guess, put emphasis on is the slot corner. And speaking about J. Lou possibly leaving, these are 2 very, very important free agents that we could stand to lose. But hopefully, along with Osa, J. Lou will hopefully also be another saying stable piece that they intend to keep because of course we know what like we talked about earlier the corner that we have over this past season, but J. Lou being a leader in that locker room, saying talking about stopping the run. I think a few years ago he was I think top rated or top rated corner, I believe. Top rated corner stopping the run. So and these are two essential pieces. I'm saying like you talk about with George's article. I'm saying possibly I seen kind of on the fence about saying whether or not Osa kind of fit his size and stature, whether he can actually fit his scheme. But like you mentioned with this play this past season, I mean you kind of got to find a way to keep Osa and also kind of
like
you got to find a way.
Allow him to leave. He's obviously trending up. He was more of a slow cooker. I ain't gonna lie. At first, I was like, get rid of him. At the beginning of the season, I was like, Osa's peak. This is about the best we gonna do. Get rid of him. But then he started just to really trend up, and it's telling me that like he's going into his prime and he's finally figured it all out. And if this is a guy that he keeps trending up, then he can start giving you 8 sacks. 8 sacks from the interior. That would only be 3.5 more than what he got this year. That's not impossible. That's not crazy. So you have a guy that could really be wrecking the interior for you, and I think that's big. Defensive tackles are big in Flus's scheme. The only thing is Osa technically does not fit what Eberflus has liked in the past as far as like the length and the size, because Osa is a what's it called? He's an undersized defensive tackle because Osa's only like 6'2". You know what I'm saying? He's only like 6'2", 280 something. But I think that good coaches can make any player work, really, especially if they're a good player. Osa clearly is a good player, so I feel like he can definitely utilize Osa. But when I look at Eberflus's scheme, Chauncey is another one. I think he's really gonna like Chauncey, and Chauncey is one I hope that they bring back because we should be able to bring back Chauncey for like $2. He should not be expensive, and he more fits his scheme because Eberflus loves giant. He loves giant defensive tackles. He went and got, remember at Indy he got DeForest Buckner 6'7".
Yeah. You think they'll move? You think they'll move Chauncey inside?
Well, Chauncey is a guy, he plays all over. So yeah, I think that they'll put him inside. They'll put him inside. They'll kick him outside. Like Chauncey can play all across the line. Just about not 3-tech, but not nose tech, but he can play all across the line. So I think that he'll like Chauncey's length and stuff like that because Eberflus does like very tall defensive tackles. So you're like 6'7", DeForest Buckner. 6'6", he drafted in Chicago. His name is Javon Dexter or something. He's like 6'6".
Yeah, I think Dexter's last name.
So he likes big guys. So we definitely gonna have to go get him a tree or two in the free agency or draft him a tree or two. But we know defensive tackles take a while to cook. So we're going to have to go get him some pieces that he likes more, but I do think that he should be able to. I think he should look at the tape of Chauncey and Osa and say, I definitely would like to keep these guys around. Those are high-effort guys, guys that have really kind of like got it out the mud, and really we saw that once they got real snaps, their play kind of shot through the roof. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Agree with you on that. And just kind of switching to the offensive side, we kind of spoke earlier about versatility on the line, but another thing I kind of want, because I just kind of listened to a few things today. They brought Schottenheimer. They brought potentially going to bring in Clayton Adams, who likes to work with the O line. Not for sure yet, but they talk about Lunda Wells possibly having a background with O line, things like that. You're helping out with the blocking scheme, and it just kind of seems to me like. And of course, the Jones talking, but the Jones talking about wanting to run the ball. What I'm saying, power scheme, and they kind of just like I'll be honest, I'm more excited, not more excited, but I'm really excited about them possibly bringing Adams because they talk about him, doing inside zone, outside zone, doing counters, things like that, and that's what we talked about last year as well. Not really seeing these guys, kind of. doing pinning and pulling, and I think they said pinning and pulling, things like that. So when we see, we should seeing guys, like Terrence Steele out there, doing run blocking. A Tyler Smith, very good. Cooper Beebe, a Brock Hoffman. You know what I'm saying? So with them bringing younger guys possibly up for more competition, that's another thing that I think we'll possibly see maybe during training camp is the actual competition. Like Schottenheimer mentioned it during his presser about guys wanting to come in and compete. You know what I'm saying? And just I think with the more focus that they're putting on O-line, I think that these guys will know that the heat is kind of on their necks, and that and they don't necessarily step up. So the next guy could take your spot. So I think the competition will get just a little bit. Or we'll get even more tired because we heard about the competition with O-line last year. You know what I'm saying? With Tyler Guyton stepping up, Awesome Richards, different guys that they brought in. You know what I'm saying? So I think O-line competition this year and training
camp, it all across the board. It's like that's the one thing. And y'all tune in to Boss Cowboy because he's gonna be doing a show at 8 tonight. Y'all tune in to him because he's gonna be talking about this very thing that we're talking about is how Dallas, it's not everybody thinking, oh, we never going, we're not in our Super Bowl window, it's over, and we gotta wait till in the Dak's contract to compete and all this crazy shit. And it's like we just beat Washington with backups. We are not so far behind. It's not that. It's the fact that Dallas, we need to get to a football culture, which is the best man wins. We need to stop playing money ball. Stop making, boss is going to talk about it, predetermined outcomes, where it's like, well, you the draft pick, so you play. No, if we drafted you for the position, yes. But if we clearly see this free agent or this undrafted guy is playing better than you, we're going to play the undrafted guy. It's as simple as that. It's like, let the best people win. Stop forcing outcomes. Stop forcing people on the field, because when you do that, it messes up the whole synergy and chemistry of your team. And so this Clayton Adams guy, we bring him in here. See, the thing is, you bring in, if we say we promote Lunda, and I love Coach Lunda, but say we promote Lunda already has a relationship with all these guys. So it's going to be real hard for Lunda to not play favorites, not play, the guy that he sees coming in every morning. And, he's worse, but he's, it's going to be real hard for him to do that. But see, when you're thinking a fresh voice like Clayton Adams, he's just going to look at the guys and say, all right, who's the best five? You. And it's as simple as that. We don't have to keep playing the favorites game and the money ball, because that is what's screwing the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. I think Brothers brought that as the point that he treats the veterans and the rookies the same. He doesn't, say like you just said, like he doesn't do preferential treatment.
Exactly, and that's what we need. We need the best five out there, regardless of where they was drafted, regardless of how much they're getting paid, regardless. We need the guys who are performing the best, because that's how you get the best out of your players. But I did want to show, since we're talking about the offense, a lot of people do have concerns, right, about Shotty, because everybody's like, oh God, he all he does is run the ball and his offense is outdated and it's going to be run, pass, punt, and all this type of stuff. So I wanted to play this clip. Shout out to, I hate to shout them out because I really can't stand it, but whatever. One of my computer fan. This is Shannon RJ's show. I'm going to be honest, like Shannon RJ, and I didn't even talk about the other guy, but Shannon RJ,
right?
Disagreements with them, but they do put out really good interviews and they do put out a lot of good content. And they, they do put out a lot of good interviews and content. So I cannot deny that, because a lot of times I be getting these clips, it'd be straight from Sean and RJ show. Yeah. But let me go to, just play this. Hopefully y'all be able to hear it, but I'm gonna play. Okay, here you go. So this is from. Okay, yeah, this is from Andrew Whitworth. Y'all, 2-time All-Pro. 2-time Super Bowl, blah blah. He's likely going to be a Hall of Fame tackle. Y'all can listen to him because he's going to talk about Shotty
football extremely well.
Scheme. Sorry, everyone.
Criticism of Shotty and those Seattle offenses were being conservative, like too old school with Pete and running the ball too much. Did you think of that while you were playing them? And what do you think of that criticism for Cowboy fans who are scared of him calling this offense?
Well, I think you've got a guy in Dak Prescott who's shown your ability to throw the football, and honestly has been a part of some great offenses over the last few years. So they're going to be able to throw the football effectively. They have a great receiver in CD Lamb. Like, being able to complete and connect on those opportunities is not going to be hard for them with those two guys. So, first and foremost, and that's where you start with your best players. But when you look at the system, I mean, look where we are. I mean, I would say that in those years that we're talking about, that was a little bit of a different league, and offenses were molding into more throwing the ball. And you look at really where we are now, we're actually headed the other direction. And some of the best teams in the league run the football extremely well, or if they don't, they've got a really dynamic quarterback who also uses his legs and creates and those kind of things. So I think when you look at Dak Prescott, some of his best years in the NFL have been when he's using his legs out of the pocket as a thrower, when he's able to use his legs to get out of the pocket. So now you start developing this run game and marrying it to your pass game, where you enter some play action, some boots, some rolls. Some of the things Dak did early in his career and was really successful. I don't see any reason why he won't be successful in that. And I think that's one of the reasons they did it, is that Dak and his relationship's really strong. And I just think this league, if you look across it, the teams that are the most successful, the NFC North is one of our best divisions in football. What did all those teams do? They ran the crap out of the football. And the Detroit Lions, obviously, Green Bay Packers. Then you look at Philadelphia, where they're at. You look at what really the Commanders, when they were at their best, what they're able to do is run the football. So I think, to me, look, the league has changed. And if he can continue to evolve that offense, I think it's going to look a little different with Dak Prescott and CD Lamb involved instead of Russell Wilson. But I don't see why that can't be successful, because to me, I look around it and go, man, there's some teams that I wish they ran it more.
So I think, obviously, fans, like, if we open up our eyes, like, this has been going on. We've had, 2 seasons now where we just can sit back and watch all these teams, right? The Final Four, and those who are making it to the Super Bowl. And who's making it to the Super Bowl? Those who are playing defense and running the ball. That is where the league is moving. When Dak first entered the league, it was a passing league. Teams were passing more and all of this type of stuff. People were like, forget running backs. They suck. Never give a running back a second chance. Never draft a running back. Everybody just F the running backs. We hate right? And then they tried to devalue the running backs. Remember how the running backs kind of, ran on strike? They was not trying to give them contracts or whatever, right?
Yeah.
After the 2023 season, everybody was like, maybe we should get running backs. And then you saw at the beginning of free agency, first people flying out the board: Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley,
Aaron Jones,
Derrick Henry. Everybody started getting running backs because that's where the league is going. Because what happened was, when it became a passing league, these smart defensive coordinators said, okay, we're tired of this. We're tired of getting destroyed by big plays, so we're going to go sit into high shell. And started daring people to run the ball, but people wasn't catching up to it. But the smart teams, the smart offensive coordinators said, we know how to beat this team. We'll run the ball and run them out of it. And so we're not saying the Dallas Cowboys historically have always been a running team. That is our formula. It's always been our formula. I think it's going to forever be our formula. And running the ball brings physicality. It brings toughness. And it also settles down your quarterback, settles down your offensive line, settles down your wide receivers. Mistakes can be made.
Time of possession. I mean, we saw that just this past season. Since we lost a lot of these games because of, I wouldn't say we lost it solely because of time of possession, but there were a lot of times that the team just played keep away, keeping our offense off the field.
Exactly. That's a lot of time. Who was the team in playoffs where it's like they can't even get? There was a team that I was watching. I'm like, they is just running.
If you're talking about Washington and the Lions, I feel like Washington kept the Lions off the field. I mean, I know they weren't running like that, but I feel like they were on the field more.
Then you look at Philly versus Washington; they couldn't get off the field.
Right.
Running the ball down their throat over and over and over again. And so this is what we need to do: get back to that identity. And then you have somebody like Saquon Barkley, Dak Prescott, who's one of, if not the best play action passer in the league, and you took that completely away from his game by giving him no running game. You see somebody like Mike McCarthy, God bless his heart, love him. Poor Mikey sitting out on the couch this year. he ain't got no job. But
Yeah.
his issue was that you don't take the running game seriously. And really, that's when a lot of fans, me included, because I was Mike McCarthy's biggest fan, but
Yeah.
I turned against him because I realized you're lying to us. You don't take the running game. We should have known you didn't take it seriously when you put Jeff Blasco, who's never even coached running back, over the run game. And then we should have known you didn't take it seriously when you allowed the front office to do this running back by committee idea that later we figured out, oh, you didn't want that. So this is what we're talking about. It's like you went with that because you didn't really care about the run game. See, if your scheme cared about the run game, then the front office would have been able to take it seriously. But the
Yeah.
front office was like, oh, we're going to cut costs here because Mike's whole system is not about running the ball. It's about you pass the ball to set up the run because that's traditional West Coast principle.
Yeah.
So with that, it was fun in 2023, but it quickly got figured out in 2024, and thus offense was terrible until we started running the ball, right? So I think, we need to get back to that, and then we look at Stephen Jones. Stephen Jones was talking that talk today. I don't know. Like, listen, I don't know.
They must have got Stephen Jones in a room or something and was like, look, Stephen, look, this how we doing things, all right? Like, you just follow us for a few months, you'll see that it's going to start working. Just let us have a little bit more leeway just for a few months because he just seemed a little bit more, a little bit, I don't say laid back because he's always rigid, but he seemed a little bit more forthcoming, with, trying to go kind of go with the flow, you know what I'm saying?
More open with change, more, Will McClay came out yesterday talking about alignment and stuff like that. And then, but today, Jory put out an article and Steven said, it is a must to run the ball. He said, we must marry our run game to our passing. He said, I can just show, let me read it. But anyway, hold on. Him and Jerry, they both was on super defensive mode. People were like, why the hell was Steven doing air quotes? But he was doing, because it was like, that's a fact, but he was doing air quotes because he's like, I see what y'all writing. We're in a drought. That's why he was
I'm convinced Jerry and Steve was in the room like, let's see what they talking about. Because Jerry definitely was like, I see what y'all saying. Everybody talk about this. I get criticism for that.
Y'all say we took too long to pay for Steven. But Stephen was like, y'all say we need to stop going into the draft with needs. Right. Because it's like, y'all been reading. But this is what Stephen said today. He said, it's a must. Stephen Jones told me it is a must that we marry our run game to our passing game and roll that into play action. Remember, this is exactly what Andrew Whitworth was talking about. He said, I think all that plays right into Dak's hands. And then as he mentioned, the reduced formations and things that do set you up to run the ball even more efficiently, as some of these teams have done in our league. Shoddy embraces all of that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you go into this quote. I said, Stephen on a roll today with quotes. He says, we want to be able to run the ball. Everybody says that we want to run the ball and we want to stop the run. And certainly that's what we want to do. That's what great championship football teams do. And I know Coach Schottenheimer wants to do that. I think it's real important that we find in this hire a coach that's going to be outstanding in the run game. And so he was talking about the offensive coordinator. So y'all can go to my page. Y'all can read the whole article, Pro Football Talk. But so what it sounds to me, what it sounds like. And again, we not trying to What's up, Bosh? Shout out, Bosh.
Hey, what's good, Bosh? How you doing?
Y'all give a shout out to Bosh. Bosh is crazy, but it look like this nigga. Steven look like Roz. Y'all know who Roz is?
Hey, look, that tweet. That dude was perfect. The glasses, the face. Oh my gosh.
It's hilarious. This is who Steven is. Ever since I said that, I was like, this ninja look just like Roz. Remember, where's your paperwork? What's the outfit? That's what I'm talking about. Hold on, let me. But yeah, this is hilarious. This I won't sit the end where this man looks just like y'all see Robson? That's exactly what Steven looked like.
Oh
my
man.
God, Steven.
Oh my gosh,
Oh
man. This
my God,
monotone, everything just
where
about
is your
Steven, bro.
exactly the whole personality and the glasses. First of all, the gray hair pointing up,
Facts.
the
Facts.
the turkey neck. People say the small lips and the attitude. That is exactly
Right. It's
that's,
everything in the face, man. It's just
that's
like
exactly who Steven is. He is right.
everything by the book, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like that is so
everything
him.
about
That
it
is
looks
so
like
him.
that is his perfect. That is his perfect comparison. But anyway,
No, but also before we move off that topic, also to kind of pair what you was talking about, I actually let me see. Dang. Because something that kind of intrigued me that Shotty kind of brought up in the pressers that he said he wanted to kind of bring back cut splits, and me, saying not fully.
yeah, what is that? Please.
Yeah, because I wanted to look it up too. Because I hadn't I hadn't heard it before, so I said, let me, I think I was listening to I brought us on Love of the Star. I think the show that 105.3 has, and he, this is just for me and my knowledge. He said cut splits is a condensed offense, where easier for the offense to run the ball, getting the receivers involved with the blocking scheme, and he kind of mentioned some teams. And kind of, as an example, like Miami and San Fran, and they talk about, well, not they, but we know Kittle is really like a blocking monster, right? He talks about how he likes to push people, get really involved in that tough part of the game, and talking about Miami, they have a great run game. We see what they've done with Mostert. I'm saying, even Tyreek Hill kind of getting him involved every now and then in the backfield, not 100%, but just things that they've done in the run game as well. So I just think him kind of bring that philosophy back for the Cowboys. We talk about just how CeeDee Lamb has kind of improved. Last year Jake Ferguson, I used him a lot on the O-line, helping out with blocking scheme and things like that. But I think we can kind of get our wide receivers back more involved with better blocking, because we saw it before, back when Gallup was here, even Turpin, he's a little bit on the smaller side, I'm saying, but we really got to get these receivers back involved with the blocking game, and just so that we can, and even, shout out to the running backs, shout out to Rico, shout out to Deuce, when he does get his time in the game, picking up those pass blocking situations, but I think it's really important to get everybody that's involved in those, better at blocking, and just kind of, improving that scheme on that side.
Facts. If I said cut splits equal tighter alignment, it creates more room to the sideline for wide zone and pin and pull runs. Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's something that we do. Thank you for that, Vach. And
yes, thank you.
That's something that we do pretty well. Like the pin and pull is one of our best runs. And so definitely want to start utilizing these concepts more, especially pairing that, then play action pass. You do the run, you do bootlegs and all this type of stuff. So, and when you do the play action pass, that's what can get those wide receivers open, right? Can move the pocket and all that type of stuff. It takes pressure off your offensive line. It takes pressure off of Dak. We know Dak. I don't know how long Dak been leading the league in best tight window throws, but for once, I don't want my quarterback to be throwing non-stop tight windows.
Right.
I'm so done with that. I'm tired of looking at these other teams and wide open, and then like no, bro. But every pass with that is so tight and contested. I'm sick of it. We need to be able to take the pressure off. Take the pressure off of Dak. Take the pressure off our offensive line. And the way you do that is running the ball and doing play action pass. So hopefully, it looks like from the top down, from Jerry and Steven to Will McClay to Brian Schottenheimer to the rest of the coaches, it seems like that's what we're about to do. Again, do we know? We don't know, because sometimes we always think something and then some BS happens. But hopefully, we get back to a commitment, because when we committed to running the ball in 2014, was right there from the NFC Championship. When we committed to running the ball 2016, right there from an NFC Championship. So if we could get back to that, even 2018, that was a good year. I think we led the league in rushing again. So if where were we? Right one step away. So if we can get back to our identity and erase for once and for all Kellen Moore's scheme out of here, erase Mike McCarthy's scheme, not erase, but the short pass and all that type of stuff. we're gonna use the pass game as a run. Like
just the staleness. I think I feel where you come from. So it's not necessarily get rid of it, but just the staleness. Like I mean, we very rarely saw yak from our yak guys, but we very rarely said unless CD was really cooking. I'm saying really getting open. We really didn't see a lot of yak from CD either. Turp, Turp is Turp. He has that speed. If he breaks a tackle, he's gone. I'm saying, but that's why I want to see the guy. I want to see, like you said, instead of less tight window throws. I'm saying more yak from our yak guys, and I'm saying just more ability from, like you said, being able to kind of get not only more from Dak. And that's I wasn't trying to find a coordinator or even a coach trying to get more out of Dak. I also want to get more out of our receivers, out of our tight ends. You know what I'm saying? Because our offense was stale on both sides. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't blaming Dak. I wasn't blaming the receivers. Kind of both, because we just kind of saw staleness, and also the play call as well. So I just want to kind of see that spark kind of come back.
It was stale, and we got to get with more modern concepts and doing things that make it easier, because everybody else is playing easy, and it just feels like every time we watch our offense, it just seems hard. I'm like, why is our offense so hard? But everybody else offense just looks kind of easy. It's just like the quarterback, 1-2 step, up, ball out, deep pass, 50 yards. Oh, hand it to Jahmyr Gibbs, 50-yard runs. It's like, why is everybody else's offense easy, but ours is like Dak Prescott got to do a trigonometry problem before every pass? I'm tired of that. Like,
Dwayne said we get more yak yards after INTs, and that is no lie. And actually, shout out to you, Dwayne Brown. Shout out to you for the donation to I believe our Cash App.
Dwayne, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We love you. We appreciate you so much donating to our Cash App. Thank you so much.
Facts. Appreciate you.
I think that's pretty much.
Yeah. I think we pretty much, I know we kind of passed on in name, but and shout out to Will McClay, re-signed to his new contract. I know we kind of we didn't McClay, in our talks. He didn't resign because that was huge star. I don't know if it's 4. I think I saw 4 and 5 years. So I'm not sure of the contract.
5 years.
Is it 5 years? Okay.
I'm a 5-year extension. We all know we had to keep Will McClay, because if not, it would have been one step away from the Browns. Like, we
oh my gosh,
lose Will McClay under any circumstance. So
I'm telling you. Yeah, and also shout out to Patrick No-C Walker, who called it about 3 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shout out to Patrick No-C. We'll give him a clap. Y'all need to follow him on Twitter.
Yes, please follow him on Twitter. Definitely breaks the news. I think he broke the news of. I believe it was he who broke the news of Brian Schottenheimer. I think an hour before Schefter, before Pelissero. You know what I'm saying? Before those guys, I kind of broke the news about Schottenheimer being hired. So shout out to Patrick No-C. I'm saying really stay on top of the news.
They've been competing for who can pop the news first. So anyway.
Right. Because even the news tonight about the 3 assistants being hired. You know what I'm saying? That was
fast.
That was fire.
First one. So, but we really I really like, the way that the coaching stuff is turning out. We got still 2 fundamental pieces. It's offensive line coach, offensive coordinator. Yeah. Hopefully we can get Clayton Adams, because I just feel like we cannot screw that up.
I'm very excited about that. And I want to look more into to White Cotton, I believe it is, the defensive line coach. I want to see.
We didn't even talk about him, but White Cotton. Oh, we talked about him a little bit. How he, players that he's been able to, Will McDonald, Bryce Huff, Quentin Williams, and stuff like that. So
because I want to see, and also I want to find. I don't know if you know, Sis, if you know much of his background, but what kind of connection he has with the guys here. I don't know if he has connections with Eberflus or
if he has any connection at all. I have not looked at him up or his resume, but I will look into him and see if he has any connections, or if they just was like, we don't got no connections with you, because I don't think Clayton Adams has connection either. I think
that's why I'm wondering too, because the only archive I've seen, I believe I have it up now, DallasCowboys.com, but the only thing they say is that let me see, that not Curtis, let me see, just real quick, bear with me just for a second. It says White Cotton spent the last 4 seasons as a defensive line coach for the Jets. Prior to that, he was with the Jags in 2013 as a defensive assistant before being promoted to assistant defensive line coach. He then went on to join the Bills for 2 seasons, and then San Fran before he went over to Salah's staff with the Jets. So it doesn't, as of right now, I know it's still, a new story that they put out, but it doesn't yet say what connection he has.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know unless it's got to be way back. I don't know, but it doesn't look like Clayton or this White Cotton fella is
Yeah.
either of them are connected. This is just they clearly was zeroing in on people. Or Brian clearly looking at coaches and stuff around the league. He's like,
Yeah.
these guys. So
Yeah, and like you said, like he make like a lot of people have saying that he has many relationships. I mean, being in the league for 20
right,
plus years, I'm saying you meet a lot of people. So like you said, he could have connection with Schottenheimer, or he probably he could have been scouting him for all we know. Hopefully, more
yep,
news will come out, of how they are
figure that
connected or
out,
how they
right.
came across him. But I'm
Exactly.
very excited. Like I said, I'm with you, sis. I'm very excited for these new coach hires. But you say, we have young guys in our room who just need guidance, who need maybe a proper scheme. I know it's the third year for our defensive side, third coordinator in 3 years. We'll see what effect that has on our players. But I think they have the willingness to learn. Micah, has stepped into that leadership role. Jay Lou, as we mentioned earlier, and of course, these younger guys stepping up to the roles that they were kind of forced, kind of pushed into last season. I just think I think that's great. I think it's a great thing because these guys see. I think these guys have seen how Parsons has stepped up as a leader. I think these guys have seen just what it takes to be able to and not it's not all about being in leadership. It's not necessarily about having that one leader or two or three guys being in leadership, but it's just about these guys stepping into their role on the team. A lot of people talk about their 111th, their role on the team is about doing your job. So not just everyone can be successful, but it's about what you can actually bring to your team. And if you're actually fulfilling your role, make sure you're not that player holding everyone back. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure you're enforcing what you're supposed to do on the field, and that way everyone else can slowly worry about what they're supposed to do. And then that way, once these guys do learn the scheme, once these guys hopefully get some kind of cohesiveness going into camp, OTAs, things like that, they start to meet everybody, meet the coaches, and kind of get on the same same wavelength, if you will, and hopefully be able to kind of create a good chemistry going into camp, although they are going into the third year of a different defensive coordinator.
I agree with that. And I'll leave my last word is that Brian, Coach Shotty, this is your shot, and I really do hope that Shotty can unite the defense and the offense, because I feel like under Mike it was too segregated. It was too us. This is us. Well, we're about us, and all the defense is close, but y'all not close to the offense. And that's why in the biggest moments, it's like we play so divided. And I'm like, we need to get to where we're all a team. We're all together. We're all brothers. Not the defense is brothers and the offense is brothers, but where we're all playing together. One thing that the playmaker said, he was like, reason why when they brought in Dion, they were so close because Dion came in and he wanted to establish relationship with everybody, not I'm gonna stay over here with the defensive backs. He's like, no, he would go in there, he would play ping pong with anybody, because that's what builds the relationships. And so hopefully Shotty's vision, he said that he wants the vision is those who love football and love one another and build that family, because I just haven't felt like we've been that. I just really haven't. I have not felt like the players in the biggest moments are really playing for one another. And unfortunately under Mike, he couldn't really get that out of them. So hopefully Shotty can. But anyway, appreciate everybody in the chat tonight. Thank y'all so much. Y'all been awesome. Y'all really just be communicating with us and really thank y'all for sharing our content, and those who liked and donated and everything. We really, really appreciate y'all. And y'all have a great night.
Yes, we definitely appreciate you guys coming through, spending your Wednesday evening with us. Catch us next week. Hopefully we'll be back to give you guys another update on hopefully some more coaching hires. Maybe some philosophy will come out. I know this weekend we're off, with football. The first Sunday, without football for a while, y'all. So go ahead and get used to it, as we hopefully soon dive into this draft content. I saw your tweet earlier, says I definitely got to dive into it too. But I think I'm going to wait till after the Super Bowl to kind of give me a little break. You know what I'm saying? All right. We love you guys, and we're going to catch you guys next week. Have a great night, you guys. Catch you next time.